When I was in middle school, from like the best era of the internet from like 2014 to 2017, I think everybody in my era from Gen Z finally like realized how bad smoking was. Like this generation was supposed to be the generation to end cigarettes and to end smoking and end addiction with all these ads and the dare campaigns that people come into our schools and everything. You know, I thought that we were destined for success at the end of the day. And for a time, it worked. I think a lot of the commercials kind of scarred me personally for life, especially like that old lady with like the robot voice that sounds like C-3PO kind of. But the point of the story is everybody knew that smoking was bad now. The majority of the population from my school knew that smoking wasn't so good for your lungs and you might actually get lung cancer at some point in your life if you smoked every single day of your life. So honestly, good job to those companies that would come to our school and lecture us and all those ads on the milk cartons and stuff. And I kind of kept that same mindset that smoking was cringe and like you were a loser incel if you smoked cigarettes. And when I went to high school, I was on the bus one day and I was riding to school and I saw kids at the smokers corner. Before they abolished it from my school, they had a smokers corner in the big year of like 2019, I think, I forget, 2018, one of those years. But there was indeed a smoking corner. I remember looking at the three kids smoking cigarettes. They wanted to make it known that they were smoking cigarettes, and they looked at you dead in the eye. When you were on the bus, I was shivering in my boots. And I was like, yo, those guys are chud losers. But most of my grade didn't even smoke cigarettes at all. No one actually smoked besides those guys at my high school. And, you know, we all thought it was over. We all thought smoking was done with this generation. So on today's episode of I'm a chud and an incel and I have a crippling nicotine addiction, I'll tell you how, you know, I thought it was over, but it really wasn't over. And it's still a problem to this day. But this is how I got addicted to the nicotine. You know, this is how I got my first vaporizer hits, my first nicotine withdrawals and hits and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, it actually kind of started back in middle school. I was kind of a rebel. I did vape in middle school, not crazy vape, but I tried. My friend's dad had this box mod. Those were the best vapes, by the way. Those big box mods with like the fat mods and everything. You could blow fat clouds. Those were awesome, and I loved those vapes, I'm not gonna lie. And I remember my first time trying it was at my friend's house. Shout out Ethan. And we were at his house. It was like a little get-together party. We thought we were cool drinking our Dr. Pepper root beer sodas. And my friend whips out this vape, and it's a box vape. And I hit it for the first time. It was a green one. I still remember what it looked like. It was like a teal greenish vape. And I hit it, and I blew out a fat cloud, and I was like, huh. This is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. I didn't feel a buzz yet because I think the nicotine was too low. I don't really remember if I got a buzz from it. But I remember just blowing out a fat cloud. And I was like, oh my God, I'm Billy Badass. I'm Tommy Tough Knuckles right now. And I remember my dad came to pick me up later that night. And I thought that he would be able to smell vape on me somehow, even though vapes are pretty much just like air fresheners to this degree at this point. They're just air fresheners. So when I got in the car, I was kind of stressing. And my dad didn't actually smell the vape that I vaped. And I went home and I didn't really think anything of it. And that was in 8th grade, by the way. I know a lot of kids are like, you know, hooking up with each other and like 6th, 5th grade now. They're smoking pot and doing bad stuff, robbing people in 5th grade. But I started kind of doing my hooligan stuff around 8th grade. That's when I started doing that. That was my first experience with the vape. And then we cut to another time, also at Ethan's house, okay? This Ethan guy was not too good of an influence back then. He was the one with all the vaporizers, all the weed, all the stuff that you wanted. He got it, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like an actual druggie in school. I still don't like drugs. I don't like pills. I don't like smoking weed. The only thing that I like now is actual nicotine. I have a crippling addiction, like I said. But another memory I remember was being at Ethan's house and I was sitting there playing on his computer. I was playing Counter-Strike, I'm pretty sure, the OG one, not CS2. And while I was playing Counter-Strike on his setup, he puts the vape up to my face while, you know, I'm gaming super hard. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm trying to game here. Can you see that I'm gaming? I got a mouse and keyboard in my hands. I'm gaming. But he didn't care. He put the vape in my face. He's like, yo, hit this. So I hit it. And right when I hit it, I took a really big hit. And I coughed really, really, really hard. And I figured out that he pranked me and put it on super high voltage with no juice in it. So I just vaped straight coil. And it was the box mod, by the way, okay? That was the box mod. And I vaped straight coil. And I think I permanently messed my lungs up to some degree at that very moment, and I still think about it to this day. But that was all in middle school, okay? That kind of started where the addiction was, okay? I was thinking that it was okay. The vapes were good for you, you know? Nothing bad has come out with the research with the vapes, you know? This is golden. We're gonna be good. And then we get to high school, and I remember walking into class, first period. Actually, my first day of high school, I was very nervous, and when the bell rang, I actually, instead of going to my first class, I went to the bathroom because I literally had diarrhea because I was that nervous and excited at the same time. And the bell rung and I was late to class on my first day of school. But besides the point, that's another story for another time. I remember sitting in class in my English class, and the teacher, this is in high school, by the way, and the teacher was giving like a presentation, whatever, and she was on her computer, and then she kind of gave us some free time to get to know each other. Like, kids from different schools were in this one big middle school now. I remember this guy named Bailey, and he was a popular kid at the time. He was a new kid, and he was popular at our school. And he whips out this thing called a Juul, a Juul. I actually almost forgot how to spell it. I'm such a chud. But he pulled out a Juul, and I look at it, and you know how it's like magnetic, and you can stick it to magnetic things? He stuck it to the table. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just like a really big like pen or eraser or something. I've never seen this type of technology, this alien technology before in my life. And this was in, when were Juuls popular? Like 2017? And he vaped it in class, and I was astonished. I was like, bro, you're gonna get caught. Why you vaping in class, dude? What are you doing with your life? I didn't say that. I actually was kind of scared to confront him because he was way bigger and taller than me. I was like a 5'2" chud, incel chud in class. But yeah, he vaped in the middle of class, and that was the first time I saw a Juul. And at the same time as well, in that year, this is right when those things started to become popular, like the mini Juuls and vaporizers. Instead of the big box mods that you literally looked like you were carrying a pipe bomb in your pocket. They came out with the portable ones this time. But something that coexisted with them were the fixes. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but they looked like a Juul, but they were like in the shape of a diamond. And I remember, I forget who had, I think this girl had I almost called it a diamond. She had a fix, and she actually gave it to, this is not on the same day, by the way. This is sometime in the future, the near future of 2017, on one of my first days of, what grade was I in? I think it was 10th grade. She had one of these vaporizer alien technology things, and I was very curious. You know, at first I was kind of scared, but I was like, yeah, I'm kind of an OG with this vaporizer thing. So I'm gonna ask her confidently if I can hit this in the nearest bathroom like a badass. So I did, and she politely gave it to me. And I went to the bathroom with my friend. Shout out Samadar. And I went to the bathroom that was like right next to the cafe in the front of my school. And this is like the first time I'm hitting this new alien technology fix Juul type of thing. And I get to the bathroom. I didn't know what a pod system was. These things had pods. And I like pulled it out, and I thought it was cool because a little smoke would come out when you took the pod out. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I took a hit. And when I tell you, that was the best buzz I've ever had in my life. It was the best. I still remember it, and whenever I think about it, I get chills. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. And I got a crazy buzz that lasted at least 5 minutes probably. It wasn't a long buzz at all, but I thought I was a badass because I took just one really big rip and then gave it to my friend and then walked back to class with it. That was probably one of the best buzzes of my life. But that also was a fuel of my addiction. So honestly, throughout the year, I didn't really... I wasn't addicted to vaping. Like, I would hit it occasionally on the bus and get that morning buzz, but I never actually owned a vaporizer device through my high school career. It actually was when I got out of high school and dropped out of college, of community college, that I started kind of liking vaping a little bit more. And there was this one time where I was talking to this girl, and she had a vape in her college desk, her college dorm room desk. And I hit it, and it was really good. It was a Blue Raz, I forget what it was called. It was just Blue Raz something. Then she went on to break my heart. Long story short, she kind of fueled my nicotine addiction. So after that point, this is like 2022, by the way. We kind of time skipped a little bit into the future. The first vaporizers I purchased for myself were 2 Juuls because I was so like chuddy and incel, and I just fumbled this really bad woman that I really thought was hot, and she went for Chad. She went for 6'8" Giga Chad with buff muscles. And instead of me going to the gym and, you know, trying to get that Giga Chad physique, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to the nearest 7-Eleven and buy 2 Juuls. Or no, I went to a smoke shop, not a 7-Eleven. You get the point. I actually bought 1 Juul, but I did buy 2 Juuls eventually because 1 wasn't doing it enough for me, okay? 1 wasn't enough. I woke up, got my morning buzzes, and then throughout the day, I would just constantly hit the vape. It got to the point where I didn't get buzzed at all. So what I did was I went back to the store. I bought 2 vapes, and I would just chief the 2 jewels. I would literally double fist the jewels. I'm not even trolling. I would carry both the jewels. I was such a dumbass. I was so stupid. I could have just bought like a crazy like geek bar at the time that was like really good, but I was stupid. So I just walked around with 2 jewels, and I would just buy hella pods. And this was by the time they banned all the good flavors and stuff. So I just had menthol, literally, and I would just rip that off and on, bro. And then eventually it got to the point where I wanted to quit. I really wanted to quit. This was probably 2023. And what I did one day was I was on a drive, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna lock in this time. I'm gonna fix my life. So I ended up throwing both of the jewels out the window, and that was that. And then this is where the addiction gets really bad. After I threw them out, I felt kind of good. I felt empowered, like a strong, independent woman, like someone in the Liberal Party with blue hair and a pride flag carrying on their backpack because they're back bling. But I was like, you know what? I feel really empowered right now. I feel really good that I just threw these jewels out. You know, I don't feel like I need to hit nicotine anymore. I feel really good. But I was far from the truth, because I went to bed that night, you know, no problem, no issue. But then I woke up and I'm like, wait, I usually hit my vape in the morning and get the best buzz I've ever had in my life. So I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna go to the vape shop. I can't do this anymore. So I go to the vape shop and I grab a vape. And it wasn't a jewel this time. It was a flavored gay geek bar or something like that. I forget what it was. But I got a vape, a geek bar. And on my way home, this is where it gets really bad. I'm vaping it, and I'm like, wait, why did I just buy this vape? What am I doing with my life? So what I did was I got into my neighborhood, and I threw it out the window on the way home from the vape store. I threw the vape out the window. What am I doing? I just needed my buzz, but I need to quit, bro. I need to quit. So I get home, and about a couple hours pass, and I'm like, wait a second. I kind of might be a little bit addicted. Okay, I'm going to go back and get a vape. So I went back and got another vape, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to quit, so I might as well just keep it. This time I brought it home and didn't throw it out the window. And then I went to bed and woke up the next morning and was chiefing it hella. Then I went to go get food, and I came back again. On my way back from getting food, I threw it out the window again. I did this repeated instance, by the way. I've done this. I still do this to this day. I'm not going to lie. I did this like 2 weeks ago. I threw a vape off of my balcony. It's like I get these urges to quit, and I will just I don't want to even like put it next to me on my desk because I know I'm gonna hit it. By the way, I have Zin's 6 milli vanillis right next to me. Cool mint, by the way. That's how I'm still addicted to nicotine in this day and age. But I just needed to throw the vapes out, bro. I always needed to throw the vapes. So this cycle just continued, and it just continued and continued until about 2024 when Zins were a thing. And Zins were out for about a year, 6-7 months. Get it? Like the meme. So funny. Zins were out for a good amount of time, and I was very skeptical on trying them because I heard a lot of people were like getting really dizzy and throwing up. But little did I realize that they were just pussies that never had a good nicotine buzz before and didn't have tolerance. I started to get on the Zimbabwe wave, and I started the Zins. They still have the good flavors, by the way. At this current point in time, they are not banned, and I don't know if there's anything wrong with them, but there's definitely something wrong with Zins, and they're probably bad for you, but I'm still gonna keep doing them because they feel really good in my lower lip. But either way, 2024, I start my Zin addiction. I'm like, oh my god, these are great. These Zins are amazing. These are the best things I've ever had in my life, because I got a nice, like a crazy buzz. And little did I know that these Zins, these pouches were straight nicotine from the source, bro. These were nicotine salts. These people literally invented nicotine salts. This was a new thing, a new technology in the form of a lip pillow. I instantly quit the vaping. I didn't feel the need to vape anymore. I felt like I was like getting kind of back on track. These were kind of helping me quit vaping. I was zinning a lot, and I was going through hella cans for like the whole year of 2024 to 2025, just constantly buying Cool Mint and the red hot flavor. I forget the cinnamon flavor. I kind of like that. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people call me psycho for that. That was happening for about a year, and then I was like, wait a second. This is probably not good for you either. I just had like that gut. You know when you have that gut feeling when something's not good for you, you know it's not good and you shouldn't be doing it, but you're doing it anyway. And I was like, you know what? I have to quit. I started doing the same thing I did with the vapes, but with the Zins. I threw the Zins instead of throwing them at the wall or anything, because you can't really. If I throw them at the wall, they're just gonna explode on the ground, and they're still gonna be able to be eaten by you, right? So what I did was I would go to the convenience store, my local gas station, and purchase Zins, take one, and then feel really bad that I had one. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be morally right in this situation. I can't do this anymore. I'm doing this for me. And I would open up my toilet and just pour all of the Zins out into my toilet. I don't know if that's the right move. I don't know if that infects the waterway. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for that, but I used to do that. And this would be, again, a reoccurring theme about every week of my life. I would go through hella packs of Zins, 6 milli vanillis, take a couple, feel really bad that I'm doing them, knowing I had to quit and better myself, and then I would just flush them down the toilet, look at myself in the mirror naked before a shower and be like, why did I just do that? I have to go back and get more Zins. I'm so stupid. That's when I was very addicted to Zins. Flash forward to this year, okay? I am on every single nicotine producer available. I'm doing cigs, I'm doing Zins, I'm doing vapes. I'm not that bad anymore. I was really bad a couple weeks ago with the vapes, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a chud when I vape. I really do. I get no energy when I do nicotine. The nicotine takes all of my energy out of me. And I owned a vape about 2 weeks ago and I threw it at a wall, and my friend that lives with me actually owns a vape. So I actually just keep bumming it off of him when I say I'm gonna quit, and he yells at me to go to the gas station to get a new vape, and I never do. But yeah, I'm kind of just at a point where I'm not overdoing it, but I'm not satisfied with me doing it at all. I need to eventually quit. But I honestly blame the government for this, because if they never banned the flavored Juuls or anything like that, I wouldn't be inhaling Chinese research chemicals with these geek bars and these random Luffy Toofy Laffy Taffy vapes that you're getting at these random gas stations. That's what I'm putting in my lungs, these Chinese research chemical vapes, which is crazy because how do they allow that from China? These random liquids that are in cotton from China that are just getting burnt in cotton, and you're probably inhaling microplastics. How do they allow that, but they ban, like, not good for you, but probably the cleanest version of flavored nicotine, which was the Juul. I think that's still good. And they still, they have the views and everything now, but they don't have flavored pods like they used to have them. They just need to bring those back, bro. It doesn't make any sense, okay? This makes no sense, and it's outrageous. It's unfair. Shout out Anakin Skywalker. But the government, it's like they want us to get insane lung cancer now, because I think they know that deep down that vaping actually was never bad for you, especially Juuls. They knew that it was hella good, and they know nicotine makes you get stuff done and lock you in. So they didn't want you to be locked in. So they give you these foo-foo, fake, Laffy Taffy Chinese research chemicals vapes in the gas stations to let you, become a degenerate eventually, and your brain just turns into poof clouds instead of you being able to actually taste a nice mango cucumber Juul pod. But I think the moment I realized I was in too deep with my nicotine addiction was, like I said before, when I was like constantly, just literally every other day, I would vape the whole day, wake up in the morning, vape again, throw it out my window, go to the vape store, get another vape, throw that one out the window, and just keep doing this. This literally happened every other day, like every other day of the week, every single week for the past year. That would happen. This was 3 years ago, by the way. That was real life events. I was that addicted, and that was when I realized, I was like, yo, I'm cooked, bro. This is really bad. This is horrible. This can't be good for you, bro. But I was like, wait, it feels good, bro. The buzz feels hella good. I gotta keep getting the buzz. But was it my fault? Yes. I'm not gonna be a victim and be like, oh, these people around me were making me vape and they gave me Zins and no, I don't. Listen, they might have done that, but I don't care. I don't play victim card ever. I'm not like that. I'm not gay. I definitely did this all myself. It is all my fault 100%. I tell myself I'm always gonna quit, even to this day, and I don't quit. I literally am about to pop a Zimbabwe after I finish recording this as we speak. Cool mint 6 milli vanilli, by the way. But it's my fault, bro. I'm always enabling myself. I'm 24, okay? I go out to the bar and the clubs, and the funniest thing is when I go out, I tell myself, I'm not gonna hit this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not, I'm just gonna have a couple drinks. And I'm not a fat chud, by the way. I feel like a fat, ugly chud, but in reality, I have a pretty decent build. I'm 5'7", and I look kind of good. I don't mog, but I'm kind of mid. I'm kind of cute looking. That's kind of gay to say. When I go out to the bar, okay, I'm gonna have a couple of drinks. I'm not gonna take a Zin tonight. I'm not gonna vape. But then that's where it goes downhill. It is 100% my fault. No one encourages me to do that. They literally tell me not to do it sometimes. My friend tells me that I'm cooked when I ask for his vape because I don't have one on me right now, but I probably will eventually get another one. But I really want to quit so bad because I'm a chud incel chuddy man. Like when I'm at the bar, I'll get a drink or two, and I'm a lightweight, so I get drunk like after a couple of drinks, and then I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Just give me the vape, bro. Just let me hit it. You know what? Do you have Zins on you? Give me that. And now they have these things in Texas, and I think these are they're called Alps, and they're like a new nicotine pouch brand, and they go up to 9 milli vanillis. My manager actually brings them to the bar, and when I get drunk off of 2 drinks, I enable it myself, and I'm like, do you have those 9 milli vanilli Alps? Okay, give me one. I'll be golden. Trust me, bro. I'm good. I'm gonna quit next week. I'll be golden. Just give me one. And he gives me one. It's my fault, okay? I'm not saying that I am disciplined right now. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying I'm a good guy with this stuff. I'm very addicted, but it's bad, but it feels good at the same time. I can't lie. But I've been getting better. Even though it's my fault, I've been getting better not doing it as often in the day because like I said, a couple weeks ago when I had my own vape, I wasn't even eating throughout the day. I was just vaping and recording TikToks. That's how chuddy and incel of me I was. I literally needed to stop. I needed to throw that at the wall. That was warranted for me to throw it at the wall and destroy this Geek bar. The Geek, what is it? The Geek Plus. Now they don't even have Geek bars. They have the Geek Plus now. But the big question is, and all you are probably wondering, am I ever going to quit actually vaping and doing these nicotine pouches? The answer is most likely not. But what I see it, I think I'm kind of coping right now, but like, what do you guys see as quitting? Like, I see quitting as completely cutting off all sources of nicotine, like the pouches, the vaping. I'm not gonna lie, I have a little loophole where I kind of accept if you crash out and hit a vape or a nicotine pouch, you throw a lip pillow in, like maybe on occasion, on a special occasion, maybe it's like a get together with the boys because, everybody's getting older. Everybody has big boy jobs now. And that one time a month you guys can get together as a group and hang out and have a good time. Cigarettes are a great socializing thing to do. Zins are great for socializing. Vaping's also good for socializing, even though it's probably the gayest one on the list. It's great, it's great to talk with your buddies and have a good time and shoot the shit with. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that is a problem. I think if you do that on occasion, you're quitting successfully, kind of. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Okay, what I'm saying, I'm coping right now, but what I'm saying is I don't think it's a bad thing to crash out every once in a while and have a nice nicotine pouch, a nice cigarette, a nice hit of the vape, okay? It's okay to have to get a buzz, okay? You don't have to completely go cold turkey and Sigma Alpha male it. But as long as you're making progress, then you'll be golden. And believe it or not, I have some quitting tips because at one point in time in 2024, I put the vape down. I put the cup down like Dave Blunt. So I can't put down the cup, but I did put it down. And I actually was vape free for like a good 6-7 months. I'm not even trolling. I was pretty good off the vape. Literally, I quit for a good amount of time. And then at some point in time, I picked one back up because my friend had it and I just hit it because it felt really good. But you may be asking, how did I quit at that time? How did I go, 8 months right off the rip? Just put the vape down, put the pouches down, bro. I never ever had a withdrawal from nicotine besides like just wanting it a little bit more the next day because I don't have that, the feeling of, putting my hand up to my mouth and hitting something. It's just nothing's there. I'm just putting my hand up to my mouth. But once you get over that, it's not that hard to quit. You literally just have to tank it 2 to 3 days max, and that's like the height of addiction and cravings. And then after that, it's kind of just smooth sailing. But to be honest with you, like I said, I don't really care about, I want to quit and I really want to, but I just can't, bro. I need lip pillows when I make YouTube videos. I need a lock in, bro. But my tip, no homo, my tip for quitting would just literally be put everything down and just chew gum, bro. That's my best advice I can give you. That's literally all you need to do. It's not hard as long as you're not a bitch and don't have hella estrogen in your body. But yeah, that's about it. If you guys have a crippling nicotine addiction like myself, and if you're a chud incel loser that doesn't get any play and goes to the bar every single weekend and tries to talk to women and they don't even look at you and they walk away and talk to Giga Chad over here, drop me a comment, like, and subscribe. I'm trying to run this channel up to 100,000 subscribers and do a face reveal at 100,000 subscribers. So stay tuned, everybody. I love you so much. Goodbye.